You don't hear much about kings nowadays, unless you're playing with a deck of cards or are a hockey fan. We're not playing a game this morning when we celebrate this feast of Christ the King. We are dead serious, especially because of all the things that have been happening in our world. These invite us to take this feast very seriously and very personally. What does it mean to you and to the rest of the world to have heard in our opening prayer when we call Jesus the King of the universe? We hardly have any meaningful kings on earth in any countries, much less to have a king of the universe. Well, all this goes back to about 90 years ago, 1925, when the world, like today, was in serious trouble with so many problems. The rise of secularism, the rise of atheistic communism, the rise of Nazism, totalitarianism and dictators in many of the countries throughout the world, and religion was taking a background, if not persecuted. Christ and his church had little meaning for this world. So in 1925, Pope Pius XI established this feast of Christ the King for the last Sunday of the church year just before Advent, to inspire Catholics and Christians throughout the world to rededicate themselves to the kingdom, to the values of the kingdom, to the meaning of the gospel for our time. Well, today the world seems to be even worse off than it was in 1925 because enemies with a common ideology of extreme and radical Islamism have struck our country at the Boston Marathon and with many thwarted attempts, have killed and captured, kidnapped hundreds in Africa, have murdered Muslims and killed, beheaded, even crucified Christians in Syria and Iraq, and then more recently have bombed the Russian airliner, set off bombs in Beirut, and then massacred over 125 in Paris 10 days ago, and about 20 2 days ago in Mali. Pope Francis has called these series of incidents a series that may be leading us into the Third World War. The members of ISIS have one goal, and that is to establish a worldwide caliphate and to murder or enslave all those who refuse to belong to it. That's the kind of slavery we prayed that we might be free from in our opening prayer when we called Jesus the King of the universe and asked him to free us from all slavery. And that's why the Feast of Christ the King today is so important for us. Jesus Christ is offered to the world as an alternate to ISIS. Jesus Christ is offered to you and me to be king of our hearts. Jesus Christ is offered to the world, is offering his kingdom as an alternate to the caliphate of ISIS. But not many people seem to be aware of this. The only alternate offered to us now is bombs, boots on the ground, or financial and technical warfare. But that's not usually the way to win hearts, and Jesus Christ is the King of hearts. The alternative offered to us by Christ the King today is to work to establish his kingdom, a kingdom of peace, a kingdom of justice, a kingdom of the Beatitudes, a kingdom of the gospel values, a kingdom, especially during this year, of mercy. But that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of prayer. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what our future will be like. Right now, the world is forming strange alliances, and events happen rapidly. But what I do know is that the meaning of this feast of Christ the King for you and me today is that evil will not win. The kingdom of God will not be overcome by the caliphate of ISIS or any other evil in this world. The kingdom established by Christ the King will last forever, even if it comes slowly and painfully. An example of this was given to us last week by a father who lost his wife in the killings in Paris. He published an open letter to her killings. His name is Antoine Laris, and he directly addressed the terror gang who murdered his wife during a concert. This is what he wrote. On Friday night, you stole the life of an exceptional being, the love of my life, the mother of my son. But you won't have my hatred. If this God for which you killed indiscriminately made us in his own image, every bullet in her body has been a wound in his heart. So no, I don't give you the gift of hating you. You want me to be afraid, to view my fellow countrymen with mistrust, to sacrifice my freedom for security. You have lost. Of course I'm devastated with grief. I admit this small victory, but it will be short-lived. I know she will accompany us every day, and that we will find ourselves in paradise, a paradise of free souls to which you'll never have access. We are two, my son and I, but we are stronger than all the armies in the world. I don't have any more time to devote to you. I have to join Melville, who is waking up from his nap. He's barely 17 months old. He will eat his meals as usual, and then we're going to play as usual. And for his whole life, this little boy will threaten you by being happy and free, because no, you will not have his hatred either. Today we should take heart as we celebrate this feast of Christ the King and not let fear overcome faith. Rather, with Thanksgiving and Advent and Christmas coming, as well as a year of mercy declared by Pope Francis, may we be open to declaring our allegiance to Christ the King. May we be, by our choices do we make in our lives, may we declare this allegiance. By the attitudes we form about violence and enemies, we declare this allegiance. By the prayers we say and the actions we take to establishing his kingdom, a kingdom of peace that is based on justice. And make it personal, like Antoine Laris did.